हेलो फ्रेंड्स, वेलकम बैक टू माय चैनल। आज जिस टॉपिक पे मैं वीडियो बना रही हूँ वो आपका MHI 01 इग्नू का लेटेस्ट सिलेबस के अकॉर्डिंग है, अर्ली ह्यूमन सोसाइटी। पिछले 2 वीडियोस में मैं आपको इस पे नोट्स प्रोवाइड करा चुकी हूँ। आज ये थर्ड वीडियो है इस टॉपिक पे और ये इस चैप्टर को यहीं पे फिर कंप्लीट कर देगा। ठीक है, तो चलिए शुरू करते हैं। सबसे पहला टॉपिक है द ग्रेट ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन। Homo sapiens make tools combining wood and stone. They learned fishing, boating, and swimming. At the same time, Holocene era began. Weather became warmer, causing different kinds of changes across the globe. For example, in West Asia, dry desert replaced forest. Our foraging ancestors devised new forms of adaptation due to climatic changes. They added new marine species and various seeds into their food kitty. Foragers were found in Australia, most of North America, as well as large tracts of South America, Africa, and Northeast Asia. They began cultivating plants. There were two other forms of adaptation to the changes in environment. First is pastoral nomadism, and second is agriculture. Pastoral nomadism. Pastoral nomadism generated a different lifestyle. Animals were reared. Pastoralists moved from one place to another in search of pasture. Pastoral nomadism varied according to the type of domesticated animals chosen as the primary source of livelihood. Pastoral nomadism के अंडर जो टॉपिक आता है वो है कैटल हर्डर्स, हॉर्स नोमैड एंड अदर्स। Goat, sheep, and cattle herding was common in West and South Asia and throughout the plains of southern and eastern Africa. Hittites, Hyksos, early Greek and Aryans were horse nomad. Reindeer herding as a form of pastoral nomadism were confined to northern Europe and Siberia. Camel nomadism became common in the early centuries of the Christian era in Arabia and the areas around Sudan in Africa. Llamas and alpacas were domesticated in the Andean highlands in America. Camel, horses, and oxen transport goods from one pasture land to another and to market. Rich nomads settle down, whereas very poor nomads cannot survive for long. Early Mesopotamian literature refers to nomadic groups who created kingdom. The Humsu, known as the Huns in the west, destroyed the Roman Empire and Indian kingdoms in the 4th-5th century. The most famous leader of nomadic groups was Genghis Khan. Pastoral nomads often destroyed kingdoms in areas where sedentary agriculture was practiced. Next topic is agriculture. Agriculture was the dominant survival strategy for the people of West Asia, Egypt, India, and China. The transition from foraging to farming is one of the turning points in our history. The seasonally mobile life of hunter-gatherer who obtain their food from wild plants and animals was replaced by the settled life of farmers who cultivated crops and raised domesticated livestock. This shift to sedentary life led to the growth of population and village settlement, the development of crafts such as pottery and metallurgy, and eventually to states and cities. Food production and animal domestication represented a change outlook. Now, what were the consequences of agriculture? First is birth of village culture. Agriculture requires farmers stays in one place for a long period. That is why the beginning of agriculture is connected with the emergence of villages. Increase in population and expansion of settlement. Population growth is higher among sedentary communities. The size of settlement increased tenfold in the transition to food production. Thus, villages with population of hundreds of people came into existence. While hunter-gatherer depended on nature to provide them food, agriculturalists actively created new landscape of cultivated crop. Slavery also existed during this period as chiefs hungry for power and health forced other members of the community to take up cultivation. Next consequences emergence of tribal communities. Hunting gathering groups and need cooperation for organizing hunt. Agriculturalists need cooperation from sowing to harvesting. There is a need for cooperation among food producing groups across the year because whereas agriculturalists were waiting for the crops to grow, they survive on the food produced by farmers in the previous season. Next consequences new epidemics and diseases. The coming of agriculture have some important consequences for the health and hygiene of people. Sedentary life created ideal environment for mosquitoes especially when they started storing water, irrigating crops or settling near swampy or marshy land. These mosquitoes were the carriers of diseases like malaria. A famous later example was the medieval spread of bubonic plague through the infestation of rat. Next consequences new forms of order and dispute. Agricultural communities would defend their field and homes much more than the foraging groups. While, if there is a conflict among foragers, the losing side simply leaves the place, whereas agriculturalists tend to stay in their villages even if the victors take away part of their produce or give them a subordinate status. तो स्टूडेंट्स यहाँ पे ही आपका चैप्टर फिनिश होता है और अगर आपको मेरा ये वीडियो पसंद आया हो तो प्लीज़ मेरे चैनल को लाइक कीजिए, शेयर कीजिए, सब्सक्राइब कीजिए, बेल आइकन को दबाइए ताकि जब भी मैं कोई लेटेस्ट वीडियो डालूँ उसकी नोटिफिकेशन आप तक पहुँच जाए। और अगर किसी भी बच्चे को इस चैप्टर से रिलेटेड नोट्स चाहिए हो, सॉल्व असाइनमेंट्स चाहिए हो, प्रीवियस ईयर सॉल्व क्वेश्चन चाहिए हो या अगर किसी भी बच्चे को इस सब्जेक्ट पे ऑनलाइन क्लास भी चाहिए हो तो वो मुझे मेरे व्हाट्सअप नंबर पे कांटेक्ट कर सकता है। नीचे डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में मैं अपना व्हाट्सअप नंबर दे दूँगी, आपको उस पर सिर्फ मैसेज करना है, कॉल नहीं करना है। आई होप ये मेरे नोट्स आप लोगों के लिए बहुत हेल्पफुल रहे। ये चैप्टर यहीं पे फिनिश होता है। नेक्स्ट वीडियो में मैं जो हूँ अब MHI 02 का फर्स्ट चैप्टर लूँगी लेटेस्ट सिलेबस के अकॉर्डिंग। तो आज के लिए बस इतना ही। अगर किसी टॉपिक पे आप लोगों को अलग से नोट्स चाहिए कि मैं उसका वीडियो बना के डालूँ तो वो भी आप मुझे कमेंट सेक्शन पे ज़रूर लिख के भेजिएगा। आज के लिए बस इतना ही। और एक और चीज़, अब कुछ दिन बाद सेकेंड ईयर वालों के लिए भी नोट्स आने वाले हैं, ठीक है? तो अब ये मत सोचिएगा सिर्फ मैं फ़र्स्ट ईयर के लिए ही नोट्स डालूँगी, अब मैं कुछ दिन बाद सेकेंड ईयर वालों स्टूडेंट्स के लिए भी नोट्स डालूँगी, ठीक है? तो आज के लिए बस इतना ही। नेक्स्ट वीडियो तक बाय।